Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Commentary Hub's live coverage alternative of Sunderland against Newcastle United in the FA Cup third round. I'm your alternative host, Nicholas Jones, and I'm delighted to have alongside me our commentators Ross Vernon and Luke Turton. Paul James is our pundit, but he's away making himself a coffee at the moment, so he will be back very shortly. Good afternoon to you, Russ and Luke.
Good afternoon, Nicholas. How you doing? Are you okay?
Yes, I'm doing very well. A time-weird derby for the first time since 2016, and what is also interesting is that Newcastle haven't beaten Sunderland in time-weird derby since 2011. Anyway, Sunderland opened the new year with a 2-0 victory over Preston North End in the Championship, whereas Newcastle fell to a 4-2 Premier League loss at the hands of Liverpool. Sunderland doing really well in the Championship, occupying the last playoff position, just 2 points behind West Bromwich Albion and 1 ahead of Hull City. Newcastle United ahead of Chelsea by just 1 point in the Premier League top 10. Russ, with all those contrasting fortunes and the statistics swaying in favour of Sunderland, do you think the Black Cats might win again against Newcastle?
I'm not sure, Nicholas. I think when we look at Newcastle, they've been really good. Had some good games this season in the Premier League. They've vaulted a little bit towards since losing to AC Milan in the Champions League. In the last few matches for Newcastle, they have not done very well. They've only won 1 game in the last 6, losing 4, drawing the other 1. Sunderland have won 2, losing 3, drawing 1 of their last 6 as well. So Sunderland are going into this in a bit more form, a bit more confidence. 4 points from their last couple of games in the league and a fantastic win on New Year's Day against Preston. I can let the listeners know, Nicholas, with the team news, Sunderland are unchanged from that team against Preston, which means there's a start for young midfielder and the younger brother of Real Madrid and England star Jude Bellingham and Job Bellingham. He starts today. Their new manager, Michael Beale, is unbeaten in 3 of his 4 games since taking over a week before Christmas, and he's won 2 of those games. Newcastle, they've gone strong in their game, Nicholas, today for the FA Cup third round tie. Eddie Howe is taking no risks as he plays the strongest team available. 2 changes to the side are lost 4-2 to Liverpool on New Year's Day. With Kieran Trippier coming in after injury, he replaces Tino Livramento at right back. Miguel Almiron comes in for Lewis Miley. The full team's on the way shortly. But I think, Nicholas, it's going to be a good game, and I think if Sunderland play like they have done in the Championship at home, they could potentially get through to the next round. I'm just going to fetch you my co-commentator here in a minute, Nicholas. And Luke, do you think Sunderland could get through, or do you think Newcastle will have too much for them?
It all depends on kind of how both sides approach the game. I mean, it's at Sunderland, so you'd think that their atmosphere would be helping them along a little bit, but Newcastle are in the Premier League and Sunderland in the Championship, so it all depends on whose side are on their game and also whether the quality of the Premier League side shows over the Championship side. So I really couldn't tell so far.
Yes, you could. Yes, you couldn't really tell. But Michael Beale, from what I've been reading, appears to be a safe pair of hands. The last time these 2 met in the FA Cup for a time-weird derby was in 1956. Sunderland beat Newcastle 2-0, but it will be interesting to see how this one goes. And I've just got confirmation that the teams are just about inside the tunnel. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over quickly to our commentators, Luke Turton. But first of all, Russ Vernon.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. Good afternoon, everyone. Townway Derby, whenever there is one. A big occasion for the big games in the FA Cup. And I'm glad to be providing the commentary for you all here on the Commentary Hub. Also live on Commentary Hub 2, JB Sports, and Focus on Football. And also on my personal Twitch channel, Russ P. Vernon _92. Just before we get as the teams are out, just before I fetch Luke in for his prediction, let me just go across to the man who's in the studio with Nicholas and link up with Paul James for a moment. Good afternoon to you, Paul. And Paul, I just want to quickly get your prediction for this game. Sunderland against Newcastle is going to be a big one. How do you see this game going today, Paul?
Oh, you know what? It's a derby. It's a derby, Ross. It can go either way. To be honest with you, I think it's very, very important for Newcastle that they try to win this game, because with everything going on right now and the recent bad results, especially on the road, this is a game that they cannot afford to take lightly. And Eddie Howe needs to win this game, I think, because this is the first meeting between the two teams for, well, I believe since 2016. This is a massive occasion, and the Stadium of Light is just full to the rafters today. I'd love to give you a prediction, Russ, but I simply can't. It's a derby, and I got to sit on the fence on this one, I'm afraid.
Do you think we'll go to a replay then, Paul? Is that what you're saying?
It's very possible. It's very possible that it could go to a replay. It's not what Newcastle won. It's probably not what Sunderland won. But I think in reality, it's definitely a possibility.
Okay, thank you, Paul. You'll hear more from Paul at half-time alongside Nicholas Jones in the studio for his action. Let me just before fetching Luke Turton, who's alongside me today, let me just quickly remind you of the two sides. Sunderland don't change from their 2-0 win over Preston on Monday, which was New Year's Day. So there's a start for young midfielder Joe Bellingham, the younger brother of England and Real Madrid star Jude. New Sunderland boss Michael Beale is unbeaten in 3 of his 4 games since taking over the week before Christmas, winning 2 of those games. Newcastle boss Eddie Howe has gone very strong for this third round tie, and he's taking no risks with his strongest side available for this game. 2 changes from the side that lost 4-2 to Newcastle on New Year's Day, to Liverpool on New Year's Day as well for Newcastle. Kieran Trippier returns from injury in place of Tino Livramento at right back, while Miguel Almiron comes into midfield in place of Lewis Miley. Sunderland lined up with Anthony Patterson in goal, Trey Hume, Dan Ballard, Luke O'Nien, and Ajay Elise across the back. Dan Neal and Pierre Ekwe are the 2 men in front of the back 4. It's Alex Pritchard, Joe Bellingham alongside Jack Clark behind the line, lone striker Razley Russian. And on the bench for Sunderland is Nathan Bishop, the goalkeeper, Timothy Pembele, Luis Semedo, Mason Burstow, Abdullah Bar, Adil Uche, Jensen Sealt, Nikiris Trendets, and Chris Rigg. For Newcastle, it's Martin Dubravka in goal, Kieran Trippier, Fabian Schär, Sven Bowman and Dan Burn across the back, Bruno Guimaraes, Sean Longstaff and Joe Linton, and Miguel Almiron in midfield with Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak in the attack. Today, on the bench for Newcastle, Loris Karius, Paul Dummett, Jamal Sales, Matt Ritchie, Emil Kraft, Louis Hall, Tino Livramento, Ben Parkinson and Lewis Miley. The referee today is Craig Paulson. He's from my neck of the woods in South Yorkshire, Sheffield. Mark Perry, Stephen Meredith is the assistant, and Andrew Magley is the 4th official. And Luke alongside me and the listeners, and Paul in the studio alongside Nicholas will be pleased to hear that there is no VAR in operation today. And Luke, this game today is a big one. How do you see this game going? As Sunderland are about to get us underway.
I think that it's going to be a probably Newcastle win here.
What do you reckon the score's going to be?
2-0.
2-0 to Newcastle then from Luke. I will not be making the prediction as Sunderland will get us off and underway. Russian gets it all the way back into the midfield and they'll try and get it out wide to Jack Clark. And Luke's the levy back with Trippier and he plays it into the midfield there of Bruno Guimaraes, who drops the ball back to Sven Bondman, and now Dan Bear back to Sven Bondman again. And now Fabian Schär has possession. Who will look to come forward for Newcastle United. Just played almost 30 seconds as this ball is played out to the far side, and Newcastle will try an attack. Here's Anthony Gordon now on the left hand side. What can he do here, Gordon? He can cut in field. There's 1-2 with Joe Linton. Spreads it out wide to look towards Miguel Almiron. Actually down on his chest and does really, really well. Can we see a goal today, please, lads? My last game was a 0-0 draw between Crystal Palace and Everton in the FA Cup, and Newcastle in the first corner inside 50 seconds, and this is good stuff from the Premier League side. Newcastle and Sunderland in their traditional kits. Newcastle in black and white striped shirts, white shorts, white socks. Sunderland are in their red and white striped shirts, black shorts, red socks. And the Sunderland goalkeeper is all in yellow today. As Newcastle win the early corner, Isak's inside the penalty area. So too is Anthony Gordon. Miguel Almiron's in there too. Let's go up from Sunderland and manage to clear it all. This one Trippier again. We've done the corner back out wide to Kieran Trippier. Puts the dangerous ball back in. Let's go up and it's cleared away for a throw into Newcastle United. Headed away there at the back by Luke O'Neill and Dan Ballard. Both in there. Well, good stuff from Newcastle, Luke.
Yeah, Newcastle have made a decent start so far. In the early corner, then that early cross from Trippier, but Sunderland are just off it so far. But who has decided in this kick clash is ghastly. Stripes versus stripes.
As Trippier puts the ball in from Newcastle. Save it was Dan Burn there with an excellent header. Referred to Longstaff, and that was a good header. But fantastic save from Anthony Patterson to keep Newcastle out early on there. Newcastle coming forward again. Here's Joe Linton. Isak loses out. Bellingham's in there. Looks it up into the air. Here's Ekwa now. Alex Pritchard. Out wide to the right hand side, and Trey Young looking to get forward. Young drops the ball back to Ekwa again. In midfield now to Neil. Back to Ekwa. The two defensive midfielders linking up well there for Sunderland. Sunderland can play the ball down the line, looking for the run of Russian who handballs it, and he goes out of play for there's a free kick to Newcastle. Sven Bondman to take, but should be a good game today. I just want to say a big shout out to my friend Laura Miller, who maybe tuned in this afternoon. Hopefully doing okay, Laura. Big Newcastle United fan she is, and hopefully you enjoy the coverage this afternoon. Some very early goals in the other FA Cup games. We'll bring you up to date with those in just a moment or two. Sunderland will try and come forward down the right side. He's rushing the striker. Can't go on into that ball. He's out of play for a throw-in. Brilliant challenge there from Sven Bondman. It's Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 0. We'll just see that header again from Sean Longstaff, and he was saved by the chest of Patterson. That was a really good save from the Sunderland goalkeeper. We'll get Luke Sloss on that save in just a moment after we watch this attack from the Black Cats themselves, as they will try and come forward. Here's Trey Young to take the throw, and he's looking for options. Goes down the line into Job Bellingham. Back he goes to Trey Young, and he knocks the ball back to Ekwa. Ekwa will look to find space and have a striker goal. It's blocked by Fabian Schär and Sven Bondman in there. It was cleared on this far. There's Neil, who keeps hold of possession. Here is Elise, who can come forward from the left back. Out wide to the tricky winger of Jack Clark, who cuts in field. Lead ball into Joe Bellingham. Back out wide to Elise. And he can't find Clark, and now Sunderland have to get back in numbers to challenge. And that's a good ball forward from Pritchard, but it's blocked out. And Newcastle can try and fetch this ball away if they can get Anthony Gordon can get him back there. He goes out of play for a goal kick. Good start by both sides. And Luke, Sunderland starting to get back into this game so far.
Yeah, Sunderland have got a bit of a foothold into this now. I think early on it was easy for Newcastle to just press up and get the early corner, but Sunderland are going to get more into it. This is a derby game. They're not just going to let Newcastle walk all over them. As for the Longstaff chance, it was straight at the goal and it's headed down instead of a direction towards the corner. That's why it didn't really come to much.
Yes, latest score is still 0-0. Some other games in the FA Cup going on today. in the early kick-off. Communication issues here, so we'll just run through the other latest scores in the FA Cup. Early kick-offs, which kicked off at 12:30, is currently AFC Wimbledon 1, Ipswich Town 1. An own goal from Josh Davison on 8 minutes give Ipswich the lead before Jake Reeves scored from the penalty spot to make it 1-1. It's currently Coventry City 3, Oxford United 1. Coventry took the lead on 8 minutes through Joel Latibidiere before Mark Harris equalised for Oxford United on 10 minutes. Ben Sheaf on 11 and Katie Palmer on 17 with the goals there. And then the other half 12 kick-off is Millwall 0, Leicester City 1, Casadei on 16 minutes with the goal in that game for Leicester at the Den. And it remains 0-0. There was a communication issue with the linesman on the side of the dugouts towards the referee. And so we're now going to get back underway with a goal kick to be taken by Martin Dubravka, all in light blue today. The referee is also in a light blue shirt. Black shorts, black socks for the match officials today, as it's Kieran Trippier knocking it back to Fabian Shaw. Of course, now to Sven Bondman, who will look to come forward. We said he goes wide to Dan Ben. Down the line he goes into Anthony Gordon, who turns well and can run over halfway, away from Trey Young. Eccles came back at him. Young's there too, and Young does well to force Anthony Gordon back. And now here comes Newcastle again. Joe Linton will spray the ball into the path of Fabian Shaw, who can come forward. Shaw now will go back to his goalkeeper Martin Dubravka. I think I was looking for Bowman, who's now going from Dubravka, but he went too far behind Bowman, so Dubravka had to come out and get that. Here comes Newcastle again. Sean Longstaff has possession. Plays the ball over the top looking for Alexander Isak. Too much on that, and Anthony Patterson will claim it early on. Coming up towards 7.5 minutes gone, he remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 0 in this game, as here comes Sunderland with possession front coming out of the back. At least down the line looking for Jack Clark, but he's trying to flick around the corner for Alex Pritchard, who's told Joe Bellingham to go out wide, and he's moved into the middle now, as he's Fabian Shaw to come forward. Long ball forward into Joel Linton, who does well. And here's Joel Linton away, but good interception there by Sunderland in their defender, Dan Ballard, who's been ever present in the Sunderland Ballard most of the season. As he's Alex Pritchard again, he can turn down the line, it goes. Wonderful bit of play here from Sunderland. Trey Young gets it back to Eckler, and now Sunderland will try and get the ball forward. Brilliant ball in towards Jack Clark, but there's too much on that. Even Usain Bolt and Moff come down in that. Well, Sunderland going into the game now. Luke, after the early pressure from Newcastle United.
Sunderland getting more possession, but the final ball was just not there currently. That was overhit. Really take a bit more quality of getting the ball forward. And I said that in the last game I did in the FA Cup. Really have to get better at when they ping the ball. Both sides currently, actually, when they're getting it forward, they need to make sure they're looking after the ball a bit better.
Yes, and I think that's what the managers will be saying to them both, as well, as the ball played forward looking for Miguel Almiron, and that's another one of those ping balls forward that Luke's just been talking about, which wasn't good enough from either of these two sides so far. Remains 0-0 between the Black Cats and the Magpies. Sunderland 0, Newcastle 0. Sunderland getting round the corner, and Joe Bellingham can't get into that, and his older brother Jude playing very, very well for Real Madrid in La Liga at the moment, and also featuring very, very heavily in the England squad under Gareth Southgate, unless he's out injured, as Bruno Guimaraes finds Miguel Almiron, who now finds Sven Bondman. Good ball into Alexander Isak, who turns away from his man, and is fouled there by Luke O'Nien, the Sunderland skipper. You can see there, takes him down, and that's a definite free kick, and Newcastle will come forward again from the back with Sven Bondman in possession. Across now into the path of Fabian Shaw, who can get this ball forward. And now Newcastle will try and get back as Sunderland have won possession back. Here's Alex Pritchard looking for Trey Young to get forward, and he can't. Can Young go after this again? Stan Byrne goes down there, Trey Young. No free kick given. Young still battling it with Byrne, but Byrne comes out on top. Premier League coming out on top in the 50-50 battle so far. And now Longstaff will try and get this ball away for Newcastle United. And we'll look to tidy up. Coming up towards 11 minutes gone here. Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 0. If you're just tuning into us, thank you very much for doing so. Whether you're listening to us, if you're sat in the pub listening to us, hello, thank you very much for doing that as well. Or if you're out and travelling in your car listening to us, we do appreciate that as well. Sunderland give the ball away to Trippier. Now here's Miguel Amon back down the line to Kieran Trippier. He's been giving some goals away in recent matches for Newcastle United, but this time he's won his side. I think he's going to have for a corner, or is he going to have for a throw? We'll have to wait and see. This will tell us. Was it a corner or a throw-in? Trippier puts the ball in, and I think it's a corner. But there was a throw-in. Trippier's going back. Here's Longstaff whipped in towards the back post. Heads go up, cleared away. Heads back in the penalty area. Sunderland having to do some defending at this moment as Bruno Guimaraes has possession. Finds Kieran Trippier back into the side today after injury. And then Newcastle give the ball away. It's Joe Bellingham battling well. And he challenges Joe Linton in front of the referee and gives away a free kick there. In a dangerous position for Newcastle to get this ball into the penalty area and get men forward.
What's worthy of note here is there's a few tackles, but then just before that, the movement off the ball from Newcastle is non-existent. They stood around waiting for the ball to come to them. There's a ball that went from Guimaraes forward towards, I think it was Joel Linton, and he just stood there waiting for the ball to come to him. Go to the ball.
Kieran Trippier lining up this free kick for Newcastle United. You could potentially have a shot here. Fabian Schär standing over this as well. But Schär now moves away. There's a couple of Newcastle players stood near the wall. That's got Neil Ekwet rushing it, and then it's Ben and Isak standing there just a couple of yards away from that wall. There's enough room for them to notice them. They've got Kieran Trippier looking over this. Will he go for goal here, the England right back, as well as playing left back on occasions? As Trippier goes for goal, takes a deflection, and greatly saved by Anthony Patterson. And that free kick was never going to really trouble him once it took that deflection.
It was a poor free kick.
It remains 0-0.
Yeah, it was a poor free kick. They really should have pulled somebody out wide and then just played it down that channel, because there's acres of space down that side, that right-hand side.
Yes, it's still 0-0. Anthony Patterson tries to clear this ball away. Isak was trying to close him down and stop him from taking it very quickly, and he did in the end. Now Newcastle moves out in front to Bellingham. Now Lees can't get the ball forward. Pritchard trying to go into this. Jack Clark trying to get forward too. Guimaraes has to go all the way back to his goalkeeper Dubravka, and finds Fabian Schär. What can the Newcastle centre back do here? He plays it inside to Longstaff. Back it goes to Dubravka, and Newcastle just trying to knock it around well at the back, just trying to cause a few problems. As here they come forward. Shaw across into Bodman. Bodman will try and get this ball out wide, and he does. Anthony Gordon's there, but Trey Young's following Gordon all the way. And this is what Gordon wants. He wants to pull players out of position so that Newcastle can get in behind the full backs on both sides. And this is a crossfield pass looking brilliantly for Dan Byrne, but he can't keep the ball in play, and he goes out for a goal, for a throw into Sunderland. Remains 0-0, 15 minutes on the clock. We'll keep you up to date with any of the goals going in the In League One, it's currently Fleetwood Town 0, Derby County 1. Nathaniel Mendes lying on 27 minutes is a difference there. That kicked off at 12:30, so 15 minutes before our game. As is some of the FA Cup games, which I've gave you the scores of. This game remains 0-0. Here is Newcastle coming forward. Can Newcastle get forward? No, Sunderland won it back. And Elias can attack into the space against Trippier. Trippier just bounces him out of the way and off the field to win the throw-in, but fair challenge in doing so. And now Newcastle come forward again with Bowman by starting at the back. It remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 0. Longstaff plays it forward into Alexander Isak, who finds Bruno Guimaraes. And now we're to Anthony Gordon. Gordon can get the ball for looking for Alexander Isak, who's onside. And he's going all the way back to Patterson. It remains 0-0. If you're just tuning into us, let me just tell you, you'll be pleased to hear that there is no VAR this afternoon in operation, as there won't be any at any non-Premier League grounds. Only the grounds which will have VAR is those grounds where there's Premier League teams involved at home. Sven Bowman is down injured. I think it's Jack Clark who's was the one closest to him at the time. Remains 0-0 and almost 17 minutes gone. We're just in this incident again here. Look, anything wrong with this challenge for you? Should Clark be booked there?
No, I think it's just a collision where they both want to kick the ball, but actually Jack Clark's collided with the foot of Botman. It's a painful one, probably a free kick, but I don't think there's a booking in this game.
Yes, still 0-0 then between Sunderland and Newcastle. Jack Clark just apologising to Sven Botman. And Paul has just said to us, maybe we can have a proper cup tied now without that VAR nonsense. Hopefully. And I bet you've probably got the same feeling as well, haven't you, Luke?
Well, I think VAR just takes forever over everything, so it's good that it's not here today.
Yes, but I just want to warn Paul, when you do the Arsenal game tomorrow, which that's our next live offering, Arsenal against Liverpool tomorrow from 4:20 on the channel. You can join Nicholas Jones, John Stuttard, John JB Stuttard, and Paul James for the game tomorrow. I can just tell you guys that tomorrow's game will have VAR involvement as Newcastle win themselves a free kick foul by Trey Hume on Anthony Gordon on halfway. And Gordon stays down. But VAR will be in operation tomorrow in our live offering tomorrow afternoon, as we see the free kick given there, foul on Anthony Gordon by Trey Hume, who we're going to talk to from the referee, but nothing more. Good to see Craig Paulson keeping the cards in his pocket, and good to see him actually refereeing him quite well despite losing VAR in the Premier League games that he's done this season. Ball across there to Anthony Gordon. What can Gordon do here now? He looks to get the ball into the box. Fans want to Guimaraes. Can he help him do that? It comes now to Fabian Schär. Our is Kieran Trippier. Just a heavy touch from Trippier. Just keeps the ball in play. Just about. Here comes Newcastle again, working it in towards the penalty area. Trippier gets it again to Bruno Guimaraes on the edge of the box. He was inside the penalty, shot is blocked. Peels for a ball by Newcastle players. Nothing given in Sunderland. Can get this ball away. Breaks for Kieran Trippier, who knocks it all the way back to Martin Dubravka. And it's Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 0. 19.5 minutes gone here. Newcastle coming forward again. Putting the ball over the top, looking for the run of Alexander Isak. But Newcastle moves out. Joe Bellingham goes down, but Ekwa will take a quick free kick. 0-0 as it scores. See this effort again from Guimaraes, and you can't really get that as an handball. For me, Luke, what do you reckon?
Well, it kind of hits him kind of thigh and then two hands. It's inconclusive. Like, yeah, no, not for me.
Yes, Gordon. Here comes Joe Bellingham now for Sunderland. Over halfway. He's challenged from behind there brilliantly by Miguel Almiron, who gets the ball back for Newcastle. Through the legs of Neil, and it's a foul on Longstaff goes down, remains 0-0. Here comes Sven Bondman out wide, then to Dan Burn. It remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle 0. And played 20 now, coming up towards 21 minutes here, Luke. And just want to get your assessment as this goes out for a throw to Sunderland on the opening 21 minutes of this game that we've had so far.
It's actually a start of a derby game we've become accustomed to when rivals face off. It's kind of coming out of a battle again. They're getting some really feisty tackles in. There's no real patterns of play coming out. No one can hold the ball in any particular area. And the quality is not there currently, but it's kind of what I expect from a Sunderland-Newcastle type game.
Yes, Joe Linton in possession for Newcastle, and he spreads it out wide to the left-hand side, and Dan Burn up over halfway from the Newcastle left-back into the midfield, and Bruno Guimaraes has it now. Gets it down the line for Joe Linton, back into Guimaraes again. Spreads it out wide to this right-hand side of Miguel Almiron. He's got Trippier on the overlap and he finds him. Trippier with the low cross in. And just over the top there was Longstaff coming in from midfield. Good bit of play from Newcastle, but the effort just goes over the bar in the end from Sean Longstaff.
Yeah, good bit of play there. Good to push the ball out towards Almiron and then further down the line to Trippier. And then that ball comes in. And it's just underneath it from Longstaff. Probably a bit too close for what he was trying to do. Probably trying to steer it across, but didn't get the angle on it. So closest has probably come from 2 chances from Longstaff. But again, need to do better to beat Patterson from there.
Yes, still 0-0 then in the FA Cup. Third round tie. Ball played forward there from Patterson. Bellingham flicks on and is flicked on again by Russian this time, looking towards Jack Clark. He's out to play for a throw-in to Newcastle, which will be taken by Kieran Trippier. Remains 0-0 in this game. If you are just tuning into us right now, big thank you for those who are doing so as the ball is played forward. There's Isak fletching it out wide to Dan Burn. Down the line is Joe Linton. He can get the ball forward. And remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 0. He's back with Dan Burn again. And now here comes Newcastle with the ball forward. Here's Kieran Trippier. Down the line looking for Miguel Almiron, who's inside the penalty area now. Well, that's good defensive play from Dan Ballard, who lets it go behind for a goal kick to Sunderland. But Newcastle always look to get down their right hand side, which is where targeting Sunderland's probably one of their weak spots, which I've probably noticed in the preparation and build up to this game, Luke.
Yeah, I think they've probably worked out that if they can get the pace in behind, then they can be a bit more in business. But I think Ballard's positioning so far in this game has been superb to cut off any balls into Almiron.
Yes, Newcastle will try and get the ball in towards Miguel Almiron on this right hand side every opportunity. The ball is hooked forward looking for Alexander Isak. He can't get it there. He's out of play for a throw-in. Off of the head of Dan Ballard again. Daniel Ballard, give him his full name. Here is Kieran Trippier. Back he goes to Joe Linton. Down the line for Trippier once more. And he's back to Shaw. And now here is Sven Bondman. Into Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes gets the ball forward for Gordon. Back in towards Guimaraes. We'll look to split it out wide. Looking for Kieran Trippier. Too much on that ball from Bruno Guimaraes. And he's out for a throw-in. Something which will be taken by Ajay Elise, the left back. And it remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 0. Interesting stuff as Newcastle are trying to close Sunderland down every opportunity, even from throw-ins, and try and get Sunderland players booked for time wasting, as is Joe Bellingham Russian, who can't keep hold of possession, and Jack Clark can get there now. Out of play for a throw into Sunderland off of Fabian Schär there. Fabian Schär will look to try and help get Sunderland behind, keep Sunderland out here and keep Newcastle in the tie as the ball is played forward. Alex Pritchard can get the ball down the line looking for the winner Russian who can challenge with Fabian Schär, who then heads the ball forward. Ball down by Clark and he's out of play for a throw-in. Remains 0-0. Miguel Almiron, he's going to try and be one of Newcastle's danger men today. Pulled into the side in place of Lewis Miley for this game, and that's probably because of how young and inexperienced Miley is in these types of games, and Almiron be more experienced playing in these sort of games. But when you've got the likes of Joe Bellingham on the Sunderland side of it, I'm sure you'd probably, if you thought you were good enough, you'd probably put him in Lewis Miley and Eddie Howe's case, but you probably don't think he's quite ready to be in this sort of environment just yet. Is Trey Young gets the ball forward for Pritchard. Sunderland will try and come forward. Aqua now into the path of Neil. What can Neil do here? Dan Neil will look to get the ball forward. He sprays it to the far side. There's Trey Young again. He can always look to come forward with Trey Young from the back. Aqua now can get the ball in towards the penalty. Joe Bellingham's in there. Dubravka comes out with ease and claims it well, but that's another ball over the top, Luke, which you've been talking about, which has not been good enough.
He's just getting his ball range all wrong. I think he's got it set to like times 10 because he's pinging these balls at Equa and they're achieving absolutely nothing so far. He needs to rein it in a little bit and just calmly dink it because that was a really poor ball.
Yes, and it's not just him who's doing it, Longstaff's doing it as well, Bondman, Dan Burn.
Yeah, there's ones in the Newcastle.
Well.
Yeah, the ones in the Newcastle team that are doing it, but Equa is the main one for Sunderland that's done it twice now. And when you're having less possession, you really need to get your ball just going forward right.
Yes, it is Newcastle coming forward with Miguel Almiron. He has to go back inside his own half to Kieran Trippier on halfway, back into Fabian Schär. Now across to Sven Bowman, who's on halfway. Down the line it goes into Dan Burn, who's normally centre back by trade, been playing left back for quite a while now, probably converted into a left back. It remains 0-0 in this game. Kieran Trippier with possession now for Newcastle United. He will look to come forward. It goes back, it goes to Fabian Schär again. Remains 0-0 between Sunderland and Newcastle United. Here they come forward with Sven Bondman. Down the line to Alexander Isak, who does well. Back to Bondman again. We'll play from Bondman into Fabian Schär. And Schär now will come forward. Chipped over the top there looking for Alexander Isak. And I'm on inside the penalty on the right hand side, but that's given away again. And that's another poor ball over the top by Newcastle this time, which didn't have much execution on it, as Sunderland will try and come forward with Alex Pritchard. Out wide to Trey Young. Back into Pritchard again. Clever back heel. Again there from Pritchard as Young going to get on the end of it, as Pritchard will leave it for Young to take this throw in. It remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 0 in the FA Cup third round clash. Coming up towards 29 minutes on the clock. Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 0. Young will take the throw and he's looking for options to throw it to. Goes towards Neil, who gives the ball away. Equa is there to get the ball back for Sunderland and find Elise. Can he get the ball forward over halfway? He gets it down the line for Jack Clark. Clark looks in field. Here comes Clark again. Good ball forward. He gives the ball away to Amon. And now he kicks Isak away. And then Isak's through. On goal. Isak goes down. Is this a penalty for Newcastle? The referee says no. And Sunderland can come forward. Luke's thoughts on that, whether that should have been a penalty. In just if we manage to get a replay of it, this is back to Patterson. Takes a touch. Clears it away, does Patterson. Linked on there by Hume. Out of play for a throw-in. Sunderland very lucky not to concede the penalty there. As Isak went down, we'll get the thoughts of Luke in just a moment or two. Half an hour, 30 minutes gone in this game. Sunderland 0, Newcastle 0. And I think now, Luke, we're going to see this one. Is this a penalty for you?
I think the actual contact was coming just outside the box, but nah, it's a bit soft. I think he's trying. He's pulling his shirt a little bit, and then in the box he starts sliding. But yeah, not for me.
No penalty for Luke there. If you think he was a penalty, getting touch and let us know. You can do so with that. Even some goals have gone in the FA Cup. It's Millwall 0, Leicester 2, Ricardo Pereira on 39 minutes, and it's FC Wimbledon 1, Ipswich Town 2, Akal Twanzebe on 40 minutes as well. There's Sunderland with themselves a free kick foul by Kieran Trippier, who claims he got the ball and throws the ball away there, does Trippier, towards his own teammates rather than getting the ball back to Sunderland. And just looking at this penalty incident again, initial contact was outside the box. It continues, and then as it goes into the box, Ballard lets go, and then Isak goes down. I'm in the same mind frame as you, Luke. No penalty there for me. Sunderland will get men forward this time to try and cause them Newcastle a few problems from this. What can they do here? Richard standing over this free kick. We'll chip it to the back post, I would imagine. And head it back across goal. Pulled down, but let's go across back. And he's been given a free kick against Sunderland for holding on to the Newcastle players. Ballard went down there. He was the man penalised. And Sunderland remain goalless with Newcastle United. Sunderland 0, Newcastle 0, 32 minutes on the clock gone. Here's Bondman to Joe Linton, back into Bondman again as now Newcastle trying to go forward with Fabian Schär. Schär will look to get this ball forward. It goes back to Dubravka, who will look to get the ball forward, but instead it goes to Sven Bondman to help him do that. Here's Dan Burn now, and Burn will get this ball down the line into Joe Linton, who can look up and find Anthony Gordon. Back into Joe Linton, who will play this ball into the midfield, and there is Longstaff who gives the ball away, and now Sunderland can try and come forward. He gives the ball away. Here's Longstaff this time retrieving possession. Looks to get this ball forward for Burn. Can try and get Gordon in behind him. Anthony Gordon's inside the penalty area. Low ball in. No one there for the shot comes in and over the bar. And Longstaff again with another chance for Newcastle, but it's over the bar in the end there.
Yeah, it was a great run and pullback by Anthony Gordon, but Longstaff should be doing better from that position. He's just got totally underneath that, leaning back a little bit as he tries to hit the shot, and just gets right underneath it. I expect better from Sean Longstaff in those sort of positions, but Newcastle are coming closer and closer.
I think Luke, it's only going to be a matter of time before Newcastle score at this rate with the chances they've had in the last 5 or so minutes. As he's Dan Burn. There's Anthony Gordon. What can Gordon do here now? He sprays it into the path of Fabian Schär. Remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle 0. Now Longstaff has possession. Schär again. Here is Joe Linton. Now back with Bondman. How wide? It goes this time to Joe Linton. Into Gimaresh, back towards Joe Linton again, and Joe Linton's away. Down the right-hand side, down the left-hand side. Low ball in, and it's an own goal. Turned into his own net. By, I think it was Luke 09. Who pushed the ball through past his own goalkeeper. And the thousands of Newcastle fans away to our left-hand side go absolutely bananas. Joe Linton with the cross in, and an own goal from Luke 09, I believe it is. And it's Sunderland 0, Newcastle 1, 10 minutes before half time. There's Dan Ballard with the goal, with the own goal.
It was great play between Gimaresh and Joe Linton to start off with, and Joe Linton directly runs to the box and puts it over, and that is so unfortunate from Dan Ballard. He's trying to clear the ball, but just gets his angles all wrong, probably making sure that the ball didn't get through to Isak, bearing down behind him, and it just ricochets off him, and instead of going over the bar, it goes into the net. How very unfortunate.
Yes, and Nicholas says, what a pity it had to be an own goal. And if our good friend Mike Ornament is listening, I can tell him it is not good news for Stevenage. It is Maidstone United 1, Stevenage 0. Sam Corn, 45+2 penalty. It's half time there now. It's half time between FC London and Ipswich is 2-1 to the Championship side. Coventry 3, Oxford 1. It's Fleetwood Town 0, Derby 2. James Collins in first half stoppage time there. That is at half time as well. And it's half time Millwall 0, Leicester City 2. Also, latest score in League 2. Harrogate Town 1, Doncaster Rovers 0. Sam Florian on 17 minutes for Harrogate in their game in League 2 this afternoon. We'll keep you updated with that. That kicked off at 1 o'clock. So we'll keep you updated till half time for the game in that one up till we come off air this afternoon, which will be around about 2:30. We'll keep you updated with that one until around about that. I can tell you there's been an equaliser for Doncaster Rovers while I've been speaking. Tommy Rowe on 19 minutes with the goal there. Is Harrogate 1, Doncaster Rovers 1 in League 2. But back to the game that we're covering today as Eckwood picks up the ball here for Sunderland. Down the line, it goes to Joe Bellingham. He loses out, and there's a Newcastle player down. Joel Linton get the ball forward into Gordon, and now Alexander Isak is away. Isak down the left-hand side, looking for Joel Linton, and finds him back into Bruno Guimaraes. Back out wide to Joel Linton again. Newcastle on the front foot now ever since scoring. Again, I've been on the front foot for quite a bit. Newcastle were knocking on the door before the opening that goal, and I'm glad today, Luke, that I've finally got a goal in the game, and you're not my curse anymore.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment on Newcastle's movement again. It's still way too static. They're not giving anybody any options when somebody else is on the ball. There's the occasional player that runs across, but no one gives the option the other way. And it just means it's so easy for Sunderland to set it into shape. There's no actual movement off the ball when players are looking up. So it's really difficult for Newcastle to play into the spaces because no one's making the runs.
Yes, it is Longstaff for Guimaraes. And now it is Dan Bernal wide. It goes to Anthony Gordon. Back into Bruno Guimaraes. And Guimaraes will find Sven Bondman and now Fabian Schär. Bondman again on halfway to Longstaff. Into Fabian Schär again. It's Sunderland Newcastle 1 here in the FA Cup third round clash. Down the line it goes, and round the corner there brilliantly from Trippier into Miguel Amon, and Amon's away. Cuts in through Miguel Amon. Can't pick out Gordon. And neither can Dan Burn, and now Sunderland will try and break away, but Joel Linton nips in to get the ball back. And now it's Anthony Gordon again, and Trey Young brings him down this time. And he won't be surprised if he goes into the referee's notebook, and he does. Yeah, first yellow card of the game goes to Trey Young, and this time the referee finally remembers he's got his cards in his pocket and gives a booking for the Sunderland right back.
Yeah, it was not a very clever tackle, that one. It was very untidy, and 38 minutes gone for the first yellow card in a derby game. That's probably a bit surprising.
Yes, Dan Ballard with the own goal for Sunderland, which gave Newcastle the lead. Trippier standing over on that far side to take this free kick. He's waiting for the referee in Craig Paulson's signal, and he's having a bit of banter with some of the Sunderland fans over in that far stand. You can see some friendly banter and laughter between Trippier and the Sunderland fans in that stand over on that far side. It remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle 1. 5 minutes to go till half time. Craig Pawson watching over this. Is Trippier will deliver now. In towards the penalty area. Edge go up. He's cleared away. Will he go for a corner? He will. Came off Ballard. That's a better clearance this time from rather than putting it into his own net. And you can just see there Ballard just flicks it away. And that's a clever clearance this time around. And now Kieran Trippier will come across to tear this corner. Just not even touching the quadrant. All the line there. That's better. From Trippier. We'll tear this corner kick, whipped in. Heads go up, breaks free second of the back post. Can he keep moving alive for Newcastle? He can't. He goes back to Gordon, who can try and recycle. Launched in towards the penalty area. Heads go up. Trey Young's there, and he having a load of the Newcastle man, which was Dan Burn. Burn can get the ball in towards the penalty area? He can't. And it's behind for a goal kick to Sunderland. Going towards the final few minutes of this game. And looking forward to ask you for your thoughts on the first half. What we've seen so far. How would you sum up the first half?
Sunderland have not really been very productive in the final third. They've struggled to really get there. The two chances they've really had to get Jack Clark in and Ruzin in, Ekwa has just messed the ball up. Newcastle have looked the better side. They probably deserve to be 1-0 up. They've had loads of chances and it was only a matter of time. But really it's been very bitty, very battly, very scrappy in the midfield. So, yeah, I mean, I expect a little bit better.
The fan Joel Linton, and now Newcastle can come away. It's Anthony Gordon out wide. Can he keep the ball in play? He can. Against Trey Young. On a booking, remember Trey Young. Gordon goes one way, drops it back to Longstaff, into Bruno Guimaraes. Kieran Trippier now has possession. Trippier delivers the ball in. Anthony Gordon's in there. Edge scoping away from Sunderland, but the foul has been given. Foul on Luco 9 by Anthony Gordon, and it remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle 1. As this ball in again in an elbow and a nudge in the back from Anthony Gordon there gives that free kick away into the final 2 minutes of normal time plus any minutes added on at the end of this first half, which has been an enthralling encounter. Both teams going for it, but just and having chances as Sunderland win themselves a free kick. Foul on Dan Ballard by Alexander Isak, who's not happy with that free kick being given, as is Ekwa now, and he can come forward. Pritchard splits it out wide to the right hand side, and Trey Young. Young will look to come forward. Here's Ekwa. Good play into the path of Dan Neil. Neil will look to come forward. Can he get the ball in towards the penalty area? He can. Cleared away by Newcastle. And here comes Longstaff and Armon and Jolie to get the ball into the path of Gordon, who can't find Isak, and Newcastle have to get back in numbers as Jack Clark is forced all the way back to his goalkeeper Patterson. Good pressure that from Newcastle, forcing Sunderland all the way back to the goalkeeper Aqua. Now Elise is there, being put under pressure from Miguel Almiron, and he wins his side of third as Elise, and Tepe there was nudged out of the way towards the fans by Miguel Almiron. Then we'll just see this bit of play again. Good play from Elise. He wins this side of throwing. And he gets pushed away there by Miguel Almiron. Almiron can be lucky not to go into the referee's book, so he's in front of the linesman, but the linesman didn't give anything. I'll call the referee over to give something as the ball is played forward. Elise heads it back towards Ballard, who can clear up towards halfway, but all this picked up by Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes will look to open the strike here. No, he goes out wide. It's Dan Ben. Back into Anthony Gordon again. Gordon will look to get the ball in towards the penalty area. Guimaraes lifts the ball in. Almost in the back post and gone. Taking his advantage and they pushed it wide as we enter 3 additional minutes at the end of this first half. But that's a glorious chance for Newcastle to double their lead there, Luke Turton.
Yeah, it was a great ball over the top by Gimaresh to Almiron. And Almiron probably would have done better to try to chest that down and then hit it instead of trying to swirl and hit it in midair. No real control over that, so there's no real chance of really getting anything towards goal. It was close, but I think he should have chested that down and hit it instead of trying to do it all in one foul swoop.
Yes, he remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 1 as they will look to come forward. Down the line he goes. Here is Anthony Gordon now. Gordon drops the ball back to Bruno Gimaresh. How wide it goes again. Gimaresh is there too. And now Newcastle just lose out in possession of the others. Still got it somehow. Gimaresh has it back. Gets the ball forward. Eckler's there to clear away for Sunderland. Into Pritchard. Who loses out to Dan Burn. Now Anthony Gordon. Gordon will lay it off for Joel Linton. Who finds Bruno Gimaresh. Gimaresh gets it out wide to Miguel Almiron. Back he goes to Trippier. First time pass to Miguel Almiron. Trippier now has it inside the Sunderland half. Back he goes into Newcastle's half from Fabian Schär in towards Gimaresh into the centre circle. Back into Sven Bondman. Down the line into Anthony Gordon. Good turn here from Joel Linton. He's got Burn outside of him. Joel Linton turns again. Sprays a wonderful pass. Out wide to Miguel Almiron who can get forward. He wants Trippier to go on the overlap and he does. So he can cut inside and he's still going. To Alexander Isak. Drops it back to Dan Burn. Chipped in towards the penalty area. Looking for the run there of Miguel Almiron. Cleared away. It remains 1-0 Newcastle. Coming up towards half time. He's out of play. There's Newcastle have a man down off of the ball. Trying to work out who it is. I think he may be. Yes, I thought it was. It's Joel Linton who's down holding his hamstring, and it looks like his hamstring's gone just before half time here. Joel Linton is the man who's gone down, and he's going to be a big blow for Newcastle if he has to come off. He has started well in this game. We'll just see this again. It's listen from Russian as he clears the ball away to the far side. Something goes and he falls to the ground in agony, and he stays down. Can he get back up here? No, it looked like he was going to try and get back up, but he's had to lay back down on the turf. It remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle 1. Just tuning into us here on the commentary hub. Russ Vernon alongside Luke Turton, bringing you this game this afternoon. Plenty of other matches in the FA Cup taking place across this weekend. Already had 2 games. We had a few games in the FA Cup. We had one on Thursday evening, which saw Crystal Palace and Everton draw 0-0. We then had a few yesterday, Friday evening, which saw Brentford and Wolves share a 1-1 draw. Fulham beat Fulham United by a goal to 0, and Tottenham beat Burnley by a goal to 0 as well in the FA Cup. Plenty of action taking place later today in the competition as well, including Hull City against Birmingham. Billy Shaw back in English football after a spell in the MLS. Could make his Hull City debut this afternoon. Could be a shock on at the Priestfield Stadium where Gillingham take on Premier League Sheffield United at 3 o'clock this afternoon. The offside flag is up there as Sunderland try to come forward down the right-hand side, as I'm just mentioning some of the games that we've got in the FA Cup later. Non-league Chesterfield head to Championship side Watford, looking to get through there. Middlesbrough to host Aston Villa this evening. Preston travel to Stamford Bridge to take on Chelsea as the half-time whistle goes. In this game, it remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 1. Swansea take on Morecambe as well later this evening in the FA Cup. Make sure you tune in to tomorrow though for our next live offering, which sees Arsenal take on Liverpool in the FA Cup. Join Nicholas Jones, JB John Stoddard, and Paul James for the game tomorrow between Arsenal and Liverpool. On air from 4:20, kick-off at 4:30. Make sure you tune in for that one for what is likely to be a very good game in prospect at the Emirates Stadium tomorrow. But now featured game here at the Stadium of Light is Sunderland 0, Newcastle 1. Dan Ballard's own goal on 35 minutes, the difference at the break. And just before we wrap up, we go back to Nicholas and Paul in the studio. Luke, Newcastle, do you think they deserve the lead at half-time based on what you've seen in that first half?
Yeah, I think they're justified for the 1-0 lead there because they've done more with the ball, they've had more chances. Sunderland have not had anything really around the Newcastle box. It's all been a little bit rushed. And yeah, if you don't create anything, you don't deserve to have anything. So really, Newcastle are definitely justified to be 1-0 up.
Yes, so at half-time then, Sunderland 0, Newcastle 1. Join myself and Luke again in 50 minutes' time for the start of the second half. But right now, let's head back to the Warfield of the studios where Nicholas Jones is joined by Paul James at half-time. Nick, it's over to you.
Thanks, Ross. Not the first half we were expecting, and Paul, you saw poor Dan Ballard's face. He was absolutely distraught for conceding that goal.
And there's nothing he could have done about it, really, I don't think, as well, because Joel Linton just got down that left-hand side. He just whipped the cross in. It was right into that corridor of uncertainty, Nick. And, well, Dan Ballard had to stick out his leg to try to get something on that to block the cross. And it took a deflection then off his leg and over Martin Dubravka and into the goal. So it was very, very unfortunate. And you're right, he looked absolutely devastated.
Can Sunderland get themselves back into it in the second half?
Well, I think Newcastle have been the better team in the first half, to be expected being the Premier League team, but they are only 1-0 up. It only takes a minute to score a goal. So at any time Sunderland can get back into this game. Newcastle have had chances in that first half. The finishing hasn't quite been there. Longstaff has had a chance, which is ballooned over the crossbar. Almiron has had a chance. Perhaps he had a bit more time, Almiron, to take that ball down and have a shot instead of trying the spectacular. That's a very, very difficult skill to perfect, and he might have been better bringing it down. So I think Sunderland maybe need to press a bit more in the second half, try to create one or two chances. They're still in this game. It's by no means over.
What do you think Newcastle have to do in order to preserve that, in order to maintain their lead? Do you think they're worthy of scoring more goals in the second half?
I think so. I think that at the moment they're getting a lot of joy down the left-hand side, and even the ball over the top to the chasing Alexander Isak has almost been able to get through a couple of times. And of course, we all know how much of a threat he is. So maybe a couple of balls over the top, but I think they've had a lot of joy down both flanks in this first half as well.
Now, sometimes we often think that when a team loses in the FA Cup, it hampers their league form. And if Sunderland were to lose that one, do you think this could hamper their? Do you think this could hamper their league? Do you think this could hamper their league form and reduce their morale as they look to aim for promotion?
Well, only if they let it. It's all of this is psychological, including all the FA Cup shocks that you see. It's very psychological. On paper, you look at a team that's good enough to win the game, beaten by a team who is clearly not in the same category in terms of skill bracket. Not talking about this game specifically, but FA Cup games in general. They're outworked by the lower division side in most cases, and that's really what it is. And I think in terms of the league for Sunderland, it's also psychological. If they were to lose today, and like I said, they're by no means out of it. If they were to lose today, then they would have to focus on repairing their form to make the challenge in the second half of the season for promotion and the obvious financial benefits that comes from being in the Premier League, where they will get 2 shots at Newcastle next season.
That could well be the case, but Michael Beale, from what I've heard, as I mentioned earlier in the program, he seems to be a safe pair of hands, and I personally think he could be the right man to take Sunderland up into the Premier League, if and when the time comes.
It's a tough division, it's a Championship, and you've got teams like Leeds, Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton. They're all up there. It's a very tough division, it's the Championship, and it's getting harder every year. I mean, you take a look at some of the teams that have gone down. I would have expected perhaps Southampton to have gone back up automatically. But they're huffing and puffing to do that as well. You've got other teams sort of around the playoff place. It's very difficult, I think, for the teams in the Championship right now. It's a very, very tight division. It's a very tough division. And you're seeing a lot of teams that previously did rather well in the Championship that are struggling right now. Teams like Birmingham City, Stoke City. To be honest with you, I think it'll be a challenge for Sunderland. But I think they've got the talent to do it.
Yes, they do. And as for Newcastle, they really put Sunderland under the cosh in the first half, and I think it might have been their manoeuvres which ultimately forced Ballard to concede, because like you say, he had nowhere to go. But as for Newcastle, who do you think would have likely scored on their own merits had things gone their way?
I think probably Newcastle. I think they've been the better side. I think it's at the moment it's probably correct in terms that they're leading by a 1-0. But like I said, it's not over for Sunderland at the moment. They can come out, put Newcastle under a bit of pressure, get themselves a goal. You never know what might come from that.
Just a bit of breaking news. Coventry City are 4-1 up against Oxford United. Callum O'Hare scoring the penalty in the 50th minute. So the Sky Blues advance. So the Sky Blues well on the way to advancing through into the fifth round. The FA Cup is a competition they last won back in 1987. But back to the here and now. Longstaff, as you mentioned earlier, he had a few good chances himself.
Yes, he did. A couple of chances in and around the edge of the penalty area. One notably that he managed to balloon over the crossbar. But to be honest, it's like I said, it's the chances have fallen for Newcastle. They've not taken them. It's still only 1-0. This is a very balanced cup tie right now. And to be honest with you, they're, like I said before, Sunderland are by no means out of it. They can get themselves back into this game just as easily as Newcastle could kill it.
Should Newcastle United have received a penalty earlier?
Well, I think it's. I looked at both incidents, and the first one on the 29th minute. On the 19th minute, when Bruno Guimaraes played it against Dan Ballard's hand. Strangely enough, I've seen them given, but I think it would have been incredibly harsh to have given that penalty. And this is another reason why I'm most grateful that VAR is not involved. Because I honestly believe that if VAR were involved, they would have looked at that and may well have awarded that penalty. I am glad they were not involved. It would have been incredibly harsh to have given that penalty. And of course, the second one, 10 minutes later, the foul by Bellard on Isak, or potential foul on Isak. They were both linked up arm to arm, and there was shirt pulling. I think it was very 50-50. It started outside the box and led into the box. But I think if you look at the replay, you see that they're both locked arms, and sort of there's a little bit of shirt pulling on both parties. I think neither of those were penalties, and I think it would have been incredibly harsh to have given either one of them.
Have to point out a correction. Russ has pointed out that Coventry are well on the way through to the fourth round. I actually said the fifth by mistake, so apologies So apologies for that one. We are in the third round, of course. Just a slip of the tongue, you understand. But coming up tomorrow on the TC Hub, this is we have another third round between Arsenal and Liverpool at 20 past 4. Make sure you join us for that one. But now we come on to one of the subjects dominated most in the second half, and that is substitutions. Who do you think both teams will select during the second half, and why?
Oh, that's a really good question. At the moment, it's very hard to say because the game is so tight right now. Obviously, I think Joe Linton may well be one because it looks like he did give himself pull a hamstring there. So there is options on the bench for that, and we may well see some of those options in the second half. I think realistically, the option would be Lewis Miley. He's playing quite well for Newcastle right now. For that, additional changes beyond that, they don't have a great deal of attacking options on the bench in Newcastle by the looks of it. I mean, obviously they do have one or two options. But I think Lewis Miley might be the first choice at the moment for Newcastle. Outside of that, they don't have a great deal going forward for them right now. So there's obviously, of course, you've got the young man Ben Parkinson. He's only 18, and he's not made an appearance this season in the Premier League, and he's only represented at under 18 and under 21 level. So, but he would be an option, I suppose, in the second half. For Sunderland, obviously, I think attacking options may well be more in their mind in the second half. And let's just see what changes they may be making. And let's have a look here. Well, they've got the one man up front, Rusin. So let's just see what options that they may be able to make in the second half. Of course, they do have Luis Semedo. He's recently just come back from injury, but he is definitely an option for Sunderland in the second half as well.
Yes, indeed. And one Sunderland player that impressed me quite early on in the season was young Chris Rigg. Could he make an appearance in the second half?
Well, I think it's certainly a possibility, isn't it? He's 16 years of age, but he has made appearances. He was on the bench again with the 2-0 victory over Preston on New Year's Day. He missed the 2 games prior to that. He wasn't in the squad at all, but he was also on the bench for the home defeat to Coventry City. But he's not come off the bench and made any senior appearances. So I think as the game goes on, depending on how it goes, we may see him. I think will be an excellent opportunity for him. But also, I think you've got to be very careful putting a kid of that age on in such a big game. The possible pressure he might feel, and if he makes a mistake, the effect it might have on his confidence. We'll see how that goes, but I just wonder whether it would be his first appearance of the season if he did come on.
Not bad for someone still at school. And Millwall have pulled one back against Leicester City. It's now 2-1 at the Den. Duncan Watmore, formerly of Sunderland, in the 56th minutes. These FA Cup third round goals just keep flying on in, and we will of course keep you updated, as and when they happen. So we're just about, we're about a few minutes going in.
Well, Nick, Wimbledon are down to 10 men. Second yellow card, Harry Pell, 60th minute.
So it's going to be tougher for the Wombles as they trail Ipswich Town by 2 goals 2-1. Coventry still 4-1 up against Oxford United. Maidstone still leads Stevenage by a goal to nil. And as I mentioned just now, it's Millwall 1, Leicester City 2. So we're almost ready. So we're almost ready for the start of the second half. So without further ado, let's hand you back over to our commentators, Luke Turton and Russ Vernon.
Thank you very much, Nick. And Paul, brilliant half-time discussion from both of those as Newcastle United make their way out onto the field of play for the start of the second half. And any Newcastle fans listening, I'm delighted to tell you that Joe Linton remains in the starting lineup despite going down, holding his hamstring towards the end of that first half. It appears that he's going to be okay to continue this afternoon. Sunderland are just in the tunnel right now. So Newcastle just waiting for those to come back out. Alex Pritchard in the front of the queue there with Luke O'Nien. Luke O'Nien will lead the team back out now for Sunderland, and their players coming back out. It looks like no changes for them either. Just one quick question to you, Luke, just everywhere for the start of the second half to go, which I want to ask you. What do you think both managers will have said to their sides going into this second half? Starting with Sunderland boss Michael Beale. What do you reckon he would have had to say?
Well, Michael Beale probably said to get upfield a bit more, get more involved around the Newcastle box and actually have a few chances on goal, because to be honest, if you don't have a chance, you're not going to get back into this game.
What do you reckon Eddie Howe would have said to his Newcastle side as Alexander Isak gets us ready to start the second half? And I'll just tell you, and then he's like, let's go the second half underway. Luke, what do you reckon Eddie Howe would have said to his troops at half time?
Keep going, keep trying what you're doing, because it's clearly working so far, but maybe take a bit more care over the ball and the chances that you are getting.
Yes, as the offside flag goes up against Miguel Almiron very early on in this start of the second half, as Newcastle tried to get forward very early on to double their advantage. And Miguel Almiron's in, he could double their advantage. And Isak, it's 2-0! A poor mistake at the back from Sunderland! And they tried playing it out at the back. Pierre Ekwah caught in possession. And Newcastle rob him of the ball by Miguel Almiron. He's teed up Alexander Isak. And it's Sunderland 0, Newcastle 2. Less than a minute into the second half. And what a start to the second half in front of their travelling fans from Newcastle United.
That was so sloppy from Ekwah. Like, what was he doing? Like, brilliantly alert play from Almiron to pinch the ball off Ekwah, slide it across to Isak, and brilliant finish. Not what Michael Beale would have been hoping for at the start of this second half, because that was absolutely atrocious from Ekwah.
Yes, fantastic goal from Newcastle, but poor mistake from Ekwah, and he knows it. He's speaking with Luke O'Nien, who doesn't need to tell him how bad it was, just trying to encourage him. If anything that could have even happened to Luke O'Nien, it could have happened to any of his teammates. Just going to try and keep his confidence up now. That's a poor mistake. Joe Linton is going off here after 2 minutes of the second half. Should have gone off at half time, really, if he's going to make a change that early. Lewis Miley comes on for him in his replacement. You know, surprised Joe Linton started if he was only going to come off after a couple of minutes. But Newcastle double their advantage and could be well on their way now into the art for the fourth round. And Newcastle United need to keep their heads and keep calm and try not let this early pressure from their early start get to their heads and think we've won this now, because if we get too complacent, someone could come back and buy them and get through if it looks they're not careful. And this result here for Newcastle, if we can hold on to it, will be a big boost for Eddie Howe, especially after following performance. Some fans want to potentially see him potentially out of a job soon. Ekwah strikes a goal saved by Dubravka. That been a immediate response and a good redemption for him if he'd have put it in. It's Joe Bellingham now for Sunderland. So this second half, here comes Trey Young. It goes down the edge of the box. There's a free kick to Sunderland right on the edge of the penalty area, right inside, right on the corner of the penalty area. Foul by Lewis Smiley, who just came on as a substitute there. Well, free kick to Sunderland in dangerous area, and in a good crossing position here, Luke.
Yeah, it's a really dangerous position, this free kick. Decent shot by Eckwood, and it deflected off Botman, I think, which took some of the sting out of it. But very dangerous position for this free kick from Pritchard.
Yes, Alex Pritchard standing over this. He's got Ballard inside the penalty area. Eckwood's in there too. So too Trey Hume, Luke on 9 inside the penalty area. Eckwood on the edge of the box. Elise also inside the penalty area. Pritchard delivers a crossing, headed away by Newcastle out to Eckwood. How wide it goes, and down the line, looking from Jack Law, looking for Dan Neil there, couldn't keep the ball in, and he's out of play for a Newcastle throw-in, and not a start that Michael Beale would have wanted to the second half, after especially going in 1-0 down. Would have wanted to try and keep it 1-0 for a long time, and see if you got a chance to get back into this league game. They've still got a lot of time left, so let's get back into this game. It's Trippier taking his time over this throw-in in towards Lewis Smiley now. Switches, if they're looking for Anthony Gordon, brings it down well from the afternoon sky. As now here comes Dan Burn over halfway into Anthony Gordon. Down the line it goes Lewis Smiley. Here's Burn again. Down the line looking for Miley again, but he's blocked by Trey Hume for a throw, which Dan Burn will look to take for Newcastle United. Here's Anthony Gordon now, and across it goes, and will Sunderland get there? They can. The Nukes have got possession. Here's Miguel Almond out the way. Longstaff's in there, across and blocked, and the free kick had already been given to Sunderland. A free kick. Here, foul on Neil by Trippier. The Newcastle played on, thinking the referee wave play on. In fact, Greg Poston given a free kick, foul by Kieran Trippier, who's had a tough time up against Jack Clark when he's got in possession. But Newcastle defender has done well today. Well, that's now the case of the commentators. Luke 9 trying to get this ball away for Sunderland. He's under pressure there from Anthony Gordon, and Anthony Gordon does really, really well for Division fans, putting the block in there and letting it go behind for a Sunderland goal kick. No, then Sunderland get out from the corner, and Anthony Patterson probably go along the line. Now he goes to 9 again. Clearance is blocked by Gordon. Miley wins the header initially, and he's cleared up into the air by 9, and he can get the ball away. Darkworth forward now, and Newcastle have to try and get back with. Someone can go on the end of this ball forward. They can't. Just Trippier gets it there to Gimaresh. Gimaresh over the top, looking for Miguel Amon, who's on side. Wonderful control by Miguel Amon, up against his opposite number, Dan Neil. Both 24s going up against each other there. Here is Bruno Gimaresh on the edge of the penalty area. His ball towards the box is poor, looking for Longstaff, and runs through to Anthony Patterson. And go 52 minutes gone here, still Sunderland 0, Newcastle 2. Newcastle almost in the fifth there, Luke.
Yeah, a decent ball out to Almiron from Gimaresh, but then when he got the ball back, he just hopelessly messed it up for the one towards Longstaff. He needs to make sure that it's not just the sprayed balls that he gets right, it's also the slide ones across the floor in those areas around the box. So if he gets those right, Newcastle are in business. But so far, he's doing the one part right, he just needs to make sure the other part is also right too.
Yes, Jordan Pickford in the crowd today. The Everton shot-stopper was on the bench in their 0-0 draw against Crystal Palace. 35 appearances for Sunderland did Pickford. As we run you through the teams for the second half, it's Padston, Hume, Ballard for 9, Elise, Neil, Eckwood, Pritchard, Bellingham, Clark, Russian for Sunderland. For Newcastle, it is Dubravka, Trippier, Shaw, Bondman, Byrne, Gimenez, Longstaff, Miley, Almiron, Gordon, Isak at the start of the second half. One change for Newcastle. Miley on for Joelinton just a couple of minutes into the second half as Ackler and released as well to tidy up and win Sunderland a throw-in, challenged by Longstaff. Referee Craig Pawson, assisted by Mark Perry and Stephen Meredith. Nigel Medley, the fourth official. Running through the remaining benches in just a moment or two. For Sunderland is Bishop, Pembele, Semedo, Burstow, Barr, Uche, Silt, Transit, and Rigg. For Newcastle, the remaining subs that they've got left is Carrius, Dummett, Lascelles, Ritchie, Kraft, Hall, Livermento, and Parkinson. As here come Newcastle with Dan Byrne. Inside the Sunderland off, working it down the line to Anthony Gordon, losing field from the left wing. Tries to get it through to Isak and breaks there for Longstaff into Gimenez. Gimenez plays it out wide to Miguel Almiron for Trippier. Trippier with Watson looking for Isak, is blocked. Behind for a corner, this time off Dan Ballard. This time a better connection from Ballard. And he went where he wanted it to go when he scored that own goal, Luke.
Yeah, better position that and better control from Ballard there.
Yes, corner then to come for Newcastle United at the start of this second half. Kieran Trippier will take this from the right hand side in towards the penalty, cleared away by Sunderland and then headed further clear. Back to Trippier though, and down the line he goes to Sven Bondman. Bondman back to Trippier, down the line he goes to Almiron. Let's give it around the corner for Trippier. Just keeps the ball in it, Almiron this time. He's in towards the penalty area looking for Anthony Gordon. He moves out to Ekwa. Ekwa just clears it away off of Bruno Gimenez, who's getting his side fired up here now, Bruno Gimenez. And his fans fired up, should I say, there. He remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle 2. And watch this, Luke. Fist pump. And loads of fist pumps afterwards towards the Newcastle fans, which gets them bouncing and joyful even more when players go like that to their fans. Makes the noise ramp up even further. As here comes Newcastle with Dan Byrne. Can they fetch this ball forward? He's got Anthony Gordon out wide here. Gordon to Isak to Byrne. Newcastle just knocking the ball around very well, and he spreads this play out brilliantly to Kieran Trippier. He's got Aaron over on the outside of him, but instead he goes inside to Longstaff. Longstaff crosses blocked. It's a corner to Newcastle, and a good start from Newcastle in the second half, piling on the pressure. 11 minutes into it, he remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle 2.
Again, it was another brilliant switch of play from Gimenez to get that move started. But yeah, I think Newcastle will definitely probably be more likely to score the next goal than Sunderland the way they're playing at the moment.
Yes, Kieran Trippier, could he provide that with this corner kick in towards the penalty area? Breaks for Lewis Miley at the far post. Miley controls it well and attack down the left hand side, bowling towards the penalty area. Gimenez on the corner for Isak, who goes down. Brilliant challenge there from Trey Hume, and he will try and fetch this ball away for Sunderland. Down the line he goes looking for Pritchard, and that's cleared back downfield by Dan Byrne, and out of play for a goal kick to Sunderland. And this is a good ball in from a good bit of play, Gimenez around the corner, and what a challenge that is. He had to time it brilliantly there, Trey Hume, otherwise that would have been a penalty for Newcastle there. With fantastic challenge there from Trey Hume. Here comes Sunderland to fetch this ball forward. Here is Luke O'Nien. What can he do here, Luke O'Nien? He can look up and find Ekwa. That's Luke O'Nien again, and now here's Dan Ballard. Ballard will come up over halfway, trying to get the ball down the line. It's cleared away. Here comes Newcastle in possession. Sunderland win the ball back, and they can try and come forward here now. Here's Pritchard. Wonderful turf from Alex Pritchard. Pritchard goes for goal! And just over the crossbar. Oh my word, fantastic effort from Alex Pritchard. And so close to the goal, which would have got Sunderland back into this game.
Brilliant run, and he just wanted that to dip a bit more and get a bit more of a curl on that because it's a bit straight. But if you could get a bit more, to have more curl onto that shot, see towards one of the corners, he'd have been in business there because it wasn't far off.
Yes, I think he even clipped the crossbar there. Newcastle trying to play out from the back and play out brilliantly. As here is Lewis Smiley up over halfway, down the right hand side. Plays down line for Anthony Gordon. Back to Lewis Smiley again. And that's a wonderful challenge there from Luke O'Neill. Getting Newcastle and the Sunderland fans on side now. But brilliant challenge there from Luke O'Neill.
You had to time that one well as well because it was definitely very forceful, and you don't want to get those wrong in a derby game.
Nope, you definitely don't. And not just a derby game, Luke, but in any game you don't want to get those wrong. Is this Pritchard coming forward for Sunderland? Switch over the play to the far side, looking to try and get Jack Clark away there and get Dan Neil in possession as well. I'm a bit surprised that we've not really seen Joe Bellingham getting much involved in this game, Ruben. Because when he's got involved in some of the other games I've seen Sunderland play this season, he's been the one that's made them tick. He's been the one that's got them going, along with Jack Clark and Alex Pritchard. So I'm surprised they've not really gave him much of a try this month or game involved in much in what they normally do in championship games as we approach the hour mark. But it's still Sunderland 0, Newcastle 2.
I think the problem with Joe Bellingham is he's playing in the wrong position. Like now in frame, he's behind Ekwa, whereas I think he's better in that number 10 role.
He was playing in that number 10 role in the first half and they didn't really get into him much then either. So I'm surprised by that as well. I'm surprised that they're not really going in the game much at all today, even in that first half.
Yeah, I think we need to remember who they're playing against as well, though. It's easier to look influential against a championship side than people who have played at the top level of the Premier League, never mind the Champions League. You're playing against Guimaraes, Longstaff, and it was Joelinton, now it's Miley. So it's probably a bit more difficult of an opponent to play against for Joe Bellingham today compared to the oppositions he's played in the Championship.
Yes, Alex Pritchard with a yellow card offence. Then, as his name taken by Craig Pawson, something must have happened off the ball. Well, we were just looking at the replay from that challenge again, which saw Newcastle win that throw-in. Here they for now, though, Sunderland as Pritchard has possession down the line. He goes to Jack Clark up against Sher and Trippier. Looks like doubling up on Jack Clark now after he gave Trippier a bit of an hard time when he got ball in the first half. How wide to this near side to the right? If someone can get this ball forward. He's out for a throw-in. Daniel did well to win the friendlies. Aforementioned Bellingham drops the ball back to O'Neill. Luke O'Neill gets it across to Ekwa and back it goes to his centre-back partner in Dan Ballard and all the way back now to Patterson. Patterson clears long downfield. Brilliant control by Alex Pritchard. Pritchard running at the Newcastle defence. Out wide to Trey Yu. Back towards Pritchard again. With a deflection off Longstaff out for a throw-in to Sunderland. 62 minutes on the clock. I mean, Sunderland 0, Newcastle 2. And do you think that second goal for Newcastle has really settled them down a bit and why Newcastle not pressing as much? Now Luke, say if he was still 1-0, they would be pressing a bit more.
I think they came out with a bit more of an intent from half time to get that second goal. I think they're probably just managing the game a little bit and managing the fitness levels to go again in maybe about 10 minutes or so. If you can see out the next 10 minutes at 2-0. Because don't forget, these players have played a lot of football recently.
Yes, foul on Joe Bellingham there by Anthony Gordon. Free kick given to Sunderland as Ekwa now takes it quickly. Gets the ball forward for Alex Pritchard. Pritchard can get the ball out wide. Can He goes instead to Neil. Out wide, he goes to Elise. Back inside to Neil. Neil will look to deliver diagonal pass to his right side towards Hume, who can't keep the ball in play. It was just behind Trey Hume, and he wasn't happy with that. You see from his frustration as he tried keeping that ball in play that he wasn't happy with the ball that came across from him from Dan Neil. It was behind him and always going to go out of play with that kind of pass. He wanted it in front of him. That's what he's telling him there.
Well, Dan Neil knew that he'd messed up as soon as he played that ball, because he put his hands to his head as if to say, "Oh, I've messed that up."
Yes, it remains the same scoreline, 2-0 to Newcastle. It is now Leicester City, 3-1 up. Tom Cannon on 62 minutes. It's now Coventry City 4, Oxford United 2. Tyler Goodwin on 79 minutes with the goals in those matches there. He's now Fleetwood Town 1, Derby County 2 as well. Jaden Stockton with the goal back for the Cod Army on 76 minutes. Half time in the League 2 between Harrogate Town and Doncaster Rovers. It remains Harrogate Town 1, Doncaster Rovers 1. And he's out of play here now. Down the line it goes. Here's Miguel Almiron, and now looks to come right and going forward. And then Milo does well. Sven Gimeresh. And now Sven Bomber has to go back to Dubravka. Into Bruno Gimeresh who can turn. We've got a bit of space to work in. He plays a wonderful chip all over the top of Anthony Gordon, who's going to be an Anthony Gordon, can't get there. Pulling with Trey Humes, grabbing hold of him. Ballard's getting involved now. Isak getting involved with Ballard. Patterson getting involved as well, trying to be peacemaker. Isak trying to be peacemaker now after getting involved with Ballard. We've had a bit of flare up here in this game, a bit of fighting going off here. There's Anthony Gordon running tapping with Trey Young, grabbing hold of him, and then he flared up. He's going to be booking for a number of players here, just trying to work out which players will be getting booked. We'll get confirmation for you in just a moment. Yellow card for Anthony Gordon, and Anthony Gordon, who's got that yellow card, he's saying to Trey Young, you can have it after. Just ask me. You can have it after the match. Just ask me. And I think that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get his shirt off now. Instead of waiting till the end of the game. And then Ballard came in and just grabbed him round the neck, Anthony Gordon there, after he pushed him away. And that's why Alexander Isak came barging in. And we had one confirmation on the booking, which went to Anthony Gordon. I would imagine Trey Hume, Dan Ballard, and Isak will probably also run into the notebook of the referee Craig Paulson. Just waiting, not seeing any confirmation of that. So maybe just being Anthony Gordon or got booked. When we do get confirmation, I will let you know. As here is Dan Byrne. And towards Anthony Gordon, where Joe Bellingham can't keep the ball in play for Sunderland. And it remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 2 here in the FA Cup third round clash at the Stadium of Light. 67 minutes on the clock. And it looks like it was just Anthony Gordon who went into referee's notebook, because if Trey Hume had been booked, he'd have been sent off. And no confirmation of Alexander Isak. Joe Hume's still on the field of play. Isak's still on the field of play. No bookings for either of those. Just Anthony Gordon getting that yellow card for that scuffle there, which happened a few moments ago. It remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 2. And Newcastle have the ball out on that far side now with Sean Longstaff. Down the line it goes into Kieran Trippier. He's going to give him a rush with a low cross in. Miguel Almiron's shot is blocked by the face of Luke O'Neill, who stays down. Now gets up and out to by Dan Ballard. Miguel Almiron's effort brilliantly blocked by the face of Luke O'Neill.
Yeah, the shot comes in from Almiron, and it's well blocked by '09's face. If he didn't get in the way of that, that was definitely going to be a goal. But so taking a ball at that power is definitely going to make you a little bit dazed for a couple of minutes.
Yes, but it seems to be okay now, Luke, as he gets ready to defend this corner kick along with his teammates. He's watching closely. Dan Burn is watching closely. There's the corner comes in. And where the near post by Joe Bellingham, and now Sunderland can break if Jack Clark can play this well. Clark slips, but still manages to keep hold of the ball, the tricky winger. Back he goes to Elise, in towards Equa now. And Equa can come forward. Up over halfway from Pierre Equa for Sunderland. Sunderland yet to go to the bench, which I'm surprised about. Newcastle made only have one forced change. So the second half from Lewis Miles. Here is Newcastle in possession with Bruno Guimaraes, who's almost too lazical on the ball and almost lost it. Here come Newcastle as they try and go for it. Where's it? Wide. What can Newcastle do now with Trippier? Down the line is Isak. Isak moves out to that far side. Miguel Almiron into Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes will look to get the ball wide for Dan Burn, who can attack down the left-hand side. Burn back into Guimaraes. Guimaraes chip to the back post where Tony Trippier. Miguel Almiron's there, but no, neither of them can keep the ball in play. Miguel Almiron with his thumbs up for the idea, but he remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle 2 into the final 20 minutes of this game. Before I get Luke's thoughts on the final 20 minutes, let me just tell you that coming up tomorrow on the channel, we've got live FA Cup action, or off-duty commentary from the FA Cup from 4:20 as Arsenal take on Liverpool in the FA Cup. Join Nicholas Jones, JB John Stuttard and Paul James for the action in that one. Is now Coventry City 5, Oxford United 2. Matty Godden on 84 minutes with the goal in that game in the FA Cup. And I can tell you, son is Millwall 2, Leicester City 3, Zane Fleming in the 86th minute there for Millwall pulling a goal back against Leicester City. It is now Millwall 2, Leicester 3 in that game. As here is Dan Burn to get the ball forward to Anthony Gordon. Gordon will look to get the ball forward, but he loses out as Sunderland try and come forward, and his Guimaraes has found Pritchard there, and Bruno Guimaraes goes into referee's notebook. So foul there on Alex Pritchard, and Bellingham won the ball initially from Anthony Gordon, and then this challenge here from Guimaraes is a yellow card. And is this one rather given there for you, Luke?
Yeah, correct decision there. Guimaraes was a little bit silly. Didn't really need to go in like that. Probably just to stop the attack. Probably one of those tactical yellow cards more than anything else. Get everybody back into their shape. But he's got to be careful now. He's on a yellow card.
Yes. Sunderland 0, Newcastle 2 this afternoon in the FA Cup. Pritchard to take the free kick. There's a short across there to Neil, and now into Jack Clark, who puts in the field. And Guimaraes is there. And one back to Guimaraes. He can't go in and that pass back there, and he goes back to Patterson. He's had closing him down, and he goes to the left hand side, and there he's kneeling to Equa. Free kick given. Taken quickly by Neil into Elise. Back into Neil. Down the line he goes to Pritchard. Alex Pritchard gets the ball out wide from Jack Clark. Pushing, moving towards the centre. Clark goes on the run and is behind for a goal kick. And Jack Clark is not happy with that. I can see him mouthing there towards the referee. Thinks this should be a corner. And I think the referee got that one wrong. It should have been a corner. Came up Trippier last there for me. 23 minutes on the clock. Sunderland 0, Newcastle 2. Luke, what's been your assessment of this second half so far, do you reckon? looks well worthy of their 2-goal lead.
Yeah, I think they still look the better side. Sunderland have a couple of chances, but again, nothing of real note apart from the Pritchard one, just went over the bar. Newcastle have played a lot better, but again, both sides in the past 10 minutes have fizzled out a little bit and not really created much. It's just been possession versus possession. So, again, Newcastle have looked the better side though.
Here's Pritchard going forward for Sunderland. And they pull the goal back. Alex Pritchard! Fantastic save by Dubravka. And then Jack Clark nips in headed Kieran Trippier. Clark on the left hand side goes down. Still going Jack Clark. Foul to Sunderland. Free kick. Foul on Jack Clark by Trippier. He's saying the handball. Clark handball. The referee said no. Let's have a look at this one again.
What he did.
He did touch him with his hand before the free kick was given. Trippier did have a but that's a fantastic save from Pritchard, saved by Dubravka, keeping that out. And if Sunderland can score from this free kick here now, it would make it a grandstand final 15 minutes in this FA Cup clash. Free kick over on that far side is now Coventry City 6, Oxford United 2. Matthew Godden in the 89th minute there. Now AFC Wimbledon 1, Ipswich 3, Jack Taylor in the 90th minute there as well. Still Maidstone United 1, Stevenage 0, Millwall 2, Leicester 3-0 score that kicked off earlier on as well. Free kick then to be taken here for Sunderland, whipped in, cleared away, back to Pritchard, the free kick taker. We get the ball in this time. Aqua's there now. Release there too. Waits for Neil. Sunderland. You see the free kick foul there on Bruno Guimaraes by Neil. I can tell you that he's also Fleetwood Town 1, Derby County 3. Tom Barkhausen with the goal in the 90th minute there in League 1. As here is a free kick foul on Bruno Guimaraes. You see the replay of that challenge there. Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 2 is the latest score into the final 14 and a bit minutes. Bruno Guimaraes is fastening his shoelaces up. Fabian Schär will now get ready to take this free kick for Newcastle United. Just waited for his teammate Guimaraes to take, and it's time to tie up his shoelaces. Here is Bondman back to Schär, who can clear it out wide to Trippier. Trippier comes in field for Guimaraes. Bruno Guimaraes looks to get the ball out wide. And if Armand can give this in play, it would be a real chance to make it 3-0. Armand just keeps the ball in play. Back to Trippier. Trippier looks to get the ball in with the right. Goes to Bruno Guimaraes. Isak goes away from his man who was marking him there, which was Joe Bellingham. Now here's Newcastle with Longstaff to Trippier back into Bondman. Bondman will come forward over halfway and then drop it into Lewis Miley's path. Miley gives the ball away to Jack Clark. Another player you want to give the ball away to when he can run at speed. Jack Clark is running to the centre of the Newcastle midfield and he loses out to Burn, and now he can get Anthony Gordon away, who's got space to run into and space to burn. And pace to burn, should I say. Here he goes. And he's took out there by Trey Young. Nino takes him out this time. It looked like it was Trey Young for the moment. Nino takes him out this time. And Luke O'Nine will go into the referee's notebook for the foul there on Jack Clark. The Sunderland captain this time goes into the referee's notebook. He remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 2 in the FA Cup third round action. And there's a short challenge to the Everett on Anthony Gordon, which sees him win his side a free kick. I wonder what will happen in this game now. He's got A free kick here for Newcastle to be whipped into the penalty area. Trippier standing over this one. Isak's inside the penalty area. So too is Anthony Gordon, Sven Bondman, Dan Burn, Fabian Schär, all in and around the penalty area. Bruno Guimaraes in there too. As we wait for this free kick to be taken, here's Kieran Trippier. And one on the edge of the box, just in the D left hand side of it. Trippier takes in towards the penalty area, goes cleared away. Gordon is there, takes it round Jack Clark. Gordon pulls the ball back. Gordon can get the ball away to Clark. Jack Clark puts it in field, turns on it, moves out to Gordon. Someone win the ball back, and now it's out wide there. It goes. Clark has it again. Gives the ball away, and Anthony Gordon's inside the penalty. Gordon shot across goal and wide, and that was almost 3-0 to Newcastle. That was almost game, set, and match, and a big chance there for Newcastle goes back in.
Yeah, brilliant play into Gordon, and then the shot was just pushed a little bit too far across the goal. There wasn't enough curl going on the inside, there's more on the outward shot, so yeah, I'm not surprised that went wide.
This is here now, comes Dan Burn. What can Burn do here with possession? He's put it out wide here, Longstaff. Lindsay side of throwing, which Dan Burn will take. The director's box there, Jim Montgomery, winner with Sunderland in 1973 when they beat Leeds United in the FA Cup. And look, I want you to get your thinking cap on, please. And in around about 5 minutes' time, pass over your player of the match to our producer, Paul James, this afternoon, who was the pundit as well. And then when we get into stoppage time, I'll ask you for your player of the match this afternoon. Full-time scores in the FA Cup. AFC Wimbledon 1, Ipswich Town 3, Millwall 2, Leicester City 3, and there's a shock. National League Southside, Maidstone United knock out League One Stevenage by 1-0 in the FA Cup. Mike Horniman, your boys took one hell of a beating this afternoon. Maidstone United knock out National League Southside. Maidstone United knock out Stevenage, winning 1-0 in the FA Cup. That goal came in first half stoppage time, if I remember correctly, through a penalty from Sam Corn, and what a result for the National League South side this afternoon. Back to the game that we've got on our hands as Bruno Guimaraes plays it to Kieran Trippier. As Lucas will come forward from right to left. Here's Miguel Almiron into Lewis Miley now, and now it is Guimaraes. Back to Miley once more. Guimaraes again, out wide for Trippier. Back he goes to Fabian Schär. Trippier again. Back into Schär once more. Down the line into Isak. Good turn. Can't pick out Longstaff. And now Sunderland with Joe Bellingham can try and counter-attack and break. Yeah. Back he goes into the path of Luke O'Neill. Good work here from Sunderland. Ball forward from O'Neill. It's Polo as Dubravka gets the ball back for Newcastle United. They will come forward. Full time is in as well, and Coventry City have beaten Oxford United by 6 goals to Coventry's FA Cup campaign for this season continues into round 4. The draw for that will be on Monday evening, and we'll have that draw on Monday evening for you. We'll potentially have a live game as well. We will keep you updated on that one over on our socials at Coventry Live 1, where we'll have, if we've got an FA Cup game coming up. But if not, we'll have the FA Cup 4th round draw for you live on Monday evening in replacement of the game of. We'll hopefully try and get confirmation of that game before we bring that match, which we've got to you tomorrow. So we've got more game coming up for you in the FA Cup, and that's tomorrow, where we can see Arsenal against Liverpool from 4:20 in the FA Cup. Bob Moncur in the crowd as well. Looks captain of Sunderland 1974 FA Cup games, and Arsenal against Liverpool. 4:20 we on air, 4:30 kickoff. Nicholas Jones, John JB Stuttard, and Paul James, the commentary team and presenting team for that one in the game there. Here comes Dan Burn down the line. It goes into Anthony Gordon and around the corner from Guimaraes into Kieran Trippier. And now Miguel Almiron has possession out wide. He's got Trippier down the side of him and finds him into the Smiley. Smiley will look to come forward for Newcastle against Sunderland. Here's Trippier now though. Into Bruno Guimaraes will look to make a move to get this ball forward. Here they come now in towards the penalty area. Down the line it goes. Ball pulled back, cleared away. Breaks for Sunderland to come forward. Here is Pritchard. Across now to Elise. Down it goes into the path of 09. Into the path of Trey Young. And he get the ball forward, he can't. As looks to win it back off it. Here's Longstaff into Guimaraes. Guimaraes looks to go outward to Miguel Almiron. Almiron wants Trippier to go over, but doesn't go there. Ball across the face of the goal. No one was attacking that from Newcastle inside the 6-yard box. Cleared away. Sunderland will try and come forward. Down the line it goes. There's a free kick. Russian is foul there. He's got a bit of mud on back of his shirt. You can see that he's putting in a lot of effort in this. He comes off now, replaced by Abdullah Bar. And in a minute now, Luke, if you've got one in your mind, message us across and we can get ready for the player match announcement in around about 5 minutes' time here on the commentary. The player of the match today is sponsored by Commentary Services, the brilliant Commentary Services run by our very own man who helps out behind the scenes in Barry Swain, he's a very brilliant man of the work he does at Commentary Services and with the help he does behind the scenes as well here with the commentary as well, and commentary 2. And he also is a very good broadcaster in his own right. Hopefully we'll have Barry on the airwaves for us if he gets a bit of free time in the up and coming Euros this summer. I was about to say next summer then, but it's this summer now since we're in 2024. And I just want to say Happy New Year to our listeners, and say that the other night, but Happy New Year to all our listeners out there, from myself, Luke, Nick, Paul, and all the team of the Commentary Hub, even those who were behind the scenes tirelessly to bring us the news and views of managers and pundits and fellow broadcasters. Is Sunderland 0, Newcastle 2 as Sunderland will try and come forward here. Is a brilliant run of Bar, the substitute who's just come on. Gets the ball in towards the penalty. Bar gets a strike at goal. He's comes back to Bar. It's a penalty. Still going Bar. You get wide to you. No. He's still going there. Bar. Brilliant turn towards the penalty area. Looks managed to just clear it away in time. Trey Young has to go for a throw in. This is good pressure from Sunderland as they try and get back into this game. Neil will ball across. It's cleared away by Miguel Almiron on the edge of his own penalty area. Only as far as Don Ballard. Has to go all the way back. Does he know? Does his goalkeeper know? He goes to the substitute. 9 and then now Newcastle can come forward. What can they do here now, Sunderland? 9 can get the ball forward. Out wide to the path of Trey Young. Down the line, inside it goes there to the path of Neil. Neil will look up. Drops it into the path of 09. Down the line it goes into the path there of Young. Here's ball inside the penalty area. Back to Trey Young. Moved across the face of goal and no one was in there for Sunderland either. A couple of balls across the face of goal, no one's been there for. Sunderland managed to keep the ball in and keep this move alive. Back to Jack Clark. Clark delivers a cross in towards the penalty area. It's cleared away the near post there by Fabian Schär up towards halfway. Sunderland get the ball back, but Isak is running off them. If he can play this well, he's got Anthony Gordon's away and Anthony Gordon's onside. Gordon's onside inside the penalty area now. Anthony Gordon goes down. Is this a penalty? It is! Newcastle have a penalty. And it's Dan Ballard who goes into the referee's no book. And on 88 minutes, it's a penalty for Newcastle United. Foul on Anthony Gordon by Don Ballard. And Luke, is this a penalty for you?
Yeah, he just shoves Anthony Gordon over with some force. There's no real need for it. I mean, at this point, your goalkeeper could come out and take the ball, or he could save the shot. It wasn't a guaranteed goal. You didn't have to push him over for the penalty. It's a bit silly from Ballard, and to be honest, that just sums up Sunderland's afternoon.
Yes, it does now. It's been a bad afternoon for Sunderland today. No really got going in this second half. And the penalty is being given I can see one of the Sunderland players there. I think that might be Pierre Ekwe, or it could be Ajay Elise, who was trying to scuffle with the penalty spot to make it harder for the Newcastle man who was about to step up to take this penalty. Wait to see who's going to take the penalty. Patterson on the goal line. He's up against Alexander Isak. Can Isak score here in this FA Cup tie to make it the fourth round place for Newcastle United in this year's FA Cup? If he scores here, he more than likely will be. Alexander Isak steps up. Right footed. 3-0. Sends the goalkeeper Patterson the wrong way. And Newcastle Legends have now going one step into the fourth round. They had 1 foot into it earlier with the 2-0 lead. They've now got 4 feet into it with a 3-goal lead now. And Newcastle heading into the FA Cup fourth round. It's Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 3. Alexander Isak, no mistake from the spot. As Newcastle now lead by 3-0.
That was a really, really brilliantly well taken penalty right into the corner. Patterson dived the wrong way, and I mean, it was just a silly tackle from Ballard, a silly shove, and you've just basically guaranteed it's 3-0. Like, before there was a bit of doubt from Gordon whether he was going to score or not. You just made it easier for Newcastle by giving Isak a penalty there. Like, silly boy.
Yes, silly boy from Don Ballard to give away that penalty. And Newcastle now, as I've just mentioned, 4 feet into the FA Cup fourth round with a 3-0 comfortable victory over Sunderland. And Newcastle United now will be making 4 changes here. So we'll see who's coming on. First of all, we have got Jamal Lascelles coming on, and he's going to be replacing Fabian Schär, it looks like. These Newcastle fans just bouncing up and down. Yes, so Fabian Schär off. Jamal Lascelles is on. That's one of the Newcastle changes. Next man off is Miguel Almiron. And Miguel Almiron, who's played well this afternoon, he's being replaced by the number 3, Paul Dummett, who comes on into defence. The next substitution for Newcastle sees Anthony Gordon being replaced. And coming on in Gordon's place. And Dan Baines also coming off as well. Is Tino Livramento, is Matt Ritchie. And Tino Livramento is the final one coming on in place of Dan Baines as well. There's the further changes. And now we've played 2 of the minutes of stoppage. I'm not sure how many minutes been added on in the second half, but we've had 2 of those stoppage time minutes now. And we're into 3 added minutes. So we've had 2 of those 3 being played according to our watch. We will probably be a bit more because of the goal and the substitutions. So we'll probably play till about 95 minutes, because we'll probably play from when the finish when it comes on. And we'll just watch this attack from Sunderland before we get our player of the match, sponsored by Commentary Services. Here is Bart on the edge of the penalty area for Sunderland. Tees up to Neil. Neil now, how wide it goes there to perfect release. Down the line to Jack Clark. Clark crossing field. He delivers a crossing towards the penalty area. Young's in there around the back. Thanks for Martin Dubravka, who can claim with ease. And into the 3 minutes of stoppage time we go. And Luke, if you just want to tell us right now your player of the match.
Yep, it's Bruno Guimaraes. He's been all over the place. He's pinged balls out for both the goals. Basically been heavily influential. So yeah, it's Bruno Guimaraes.
Bruno Guimaraes, the player of the match, sponsored by the brilliant commentary services. And a brilliant choice from Luke Turton to give the player of the match award there to Bruno Guimaraes, being one of the standout players for Newcastle today. Help them tick in this game and get through with 2 second half goals from Alexander Isak and into the first half own goal by Dan Ballard. And Sunderland would get penalised for an handball there. Dan Neil penalised for the handball. As the ball bounced up and striked him on the arm. It remains Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 3. And the Newcastle fans jumping up and down. Away to our left hand side. As his man Richard down the line, it goes. Longstaff can't get there. As Sunderland win the ball back with Trey Human. Here's Equinau, who's been one of the Sunderland better players as well today. Here's Joe Bellingham, being disappointed, not really seeing much of him this afternoon, not really taking much to the game much to Newcastle like he normally does to Championship teams like Leicester City, Leeds United, to name a couple, Southampton as well when Sunderland have played them. Who were all in the Premier League last season now find themselves in the Championship. Here come Sunderland, now the Newcastle win the ball back. Here is Dummett, and Newcastle will try and clear this ball away, but there is the full-time whistle. It's all over. Sunderland bow out of the FA Cup, losing 3-0 to Newcastle United. The own goal from Dan Ballard 10 minutes before the end of the first half was added to second half goals by a brace from Alexander Isak. Excuse me, one after a minute into the second half after a poor play out from the Baba Ekwa. And then just as we're getting in towards the 90th minute, a penalty from Alexander Isak was converted brilliantly, sending Anthony Patson the wrong way after Dan Ballard pushed over Anthony Gordon stupidly inside the penalty area. Newcastle make it into the fourth round of the FA Cup. Sunderland 0, Newcastle 3. But before we go back to Nicholas and to Paul in our studio, let me just ask my commentator for his overall thoughts on the game this afternoon. Luke, over to you.
Yeah, I think it was a decent game and all. I think Sunderland have been very sloppy with the one own goal to the play out for the second goal, and then also the shove for the penalty. Newcastle were on fire today. Bruno Guimaraes just basically was going one way and then the other way, pinging balls left, right and centre. Gordon and Almiron were electric. Isak was on fire in front of goal. Dubravka only had a couple of saves to make in that second half. There really wasn't enough conviction from Sunderland. They'll be disappointed today to not have had more of a go at this game. But in the end, Newcastle's quality just shone through.
That it did. Luke, that he did. Just before I do go, I just want to tell you that in League One, he finished 3 with Town 1, Derby County 3. And he's currently Harrogate Town 3, Doncaster Rovers 1. 2 second half goals from James Daly and one from Ibrahim Badour, who's put Harrogate Town 3-1 up against Doncaster Rovers this afternoon. Well, full time in our feature game in the FA Cup as I am back to the studio to Paul James and Nicholas Jones, where it's finished Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 3 here on Wearside.
Thanks, Ross. Not the second half we would have expected, and Newcastle finally get their first win against Sunderland since 2011. Their first FA Cup win against the Black Cats since 1956. And Paul, it was a long time coming, but for the supporters, it must have been well worth the wait.
Yeah, absolutely. At half time, I said the game wasn't over, but they pressed the self-destruct button in the second half. A dreadful error given away at the start of the second half by Ekwa. Perhaps he didn't see Isak nipping in there, but he nipped in there with Almiron nicking the ball off Ekwa there, and then Almiron just squaring the ball across to Isak. But Ballard as well. It's been a rough and tumble day for him. He scored. Of course, he got the own goal for the first goal, gave away the penalty for the third. And if I'm being honest, that penalty was a very poor penalty to give away. He didn't need to shove him over like that. It was just not necessary. And in the end, I think Newcastle just took control of that second half. Looked by far the better team. As Luke mentioned, Bruno Guimaraes pinging the ball about all over the park, almost acting as a quarterback. He was just brilliant today, fully deserving of man of the match. And in the end, I think Sunderland they just hit the self-destruct button in the second half.
Yeah, that's right. Poor Dan Ballard. He'll be the most unpopular man in the squad. But the drinks tonight will be on Guimaraes and Isak, and I'm actually quite relieved that you said that that they pressed the self-destruct button. I actually thought it was the curse of the commentators that did that. We have hit.
So I mean, good result for Newcastle. They'll be very happy with that victory over their rival. First victory in the cup for so many years, so their fans will go away happy tonight.
Yes, they certainly will. And Sunderland's as for Sunderland's loss, where do they go from here? Is it a case now of sort of rebuilding themselves because they're pushing for promotion in the Championship, as I said before the second half?
Well, that's exactly what they do. They don't have any other choice at this stage. They've got to now. They've got to now turn to their next league game and put this behind them. Well, it's Ipswich away next. That's next for Sunderland. That's where they go from there. And it's a very, very difficult game. Ipswich at the moment in second place, strong team. But if Sunderland want to repair the damage of today, go and get 3 points at Ipswich.
Yes, that's right. They certainly do. And as for Newcastle, they've certainly had an interesting season. Flirtation with the Champions League, among other things. Plus that third round victory. Would you say that the Magpies are now on a roll?
I don't know about on a roll. They've been pretty inconsistent since they've been eliminated from European football. They've, of course, defeats to Nottingham Forest and Luton Town over the Christmas period hasn't helped them. In fact, they've had, you have to look at this and say they've had no points over that very important Christmas period. And a 1-0 defeat to Luton, a 3-1 defeat to Nottingham Forest, and a 4-2 defeat by Liverpool. And to get no points over Christmas is probably ruled them out of a Champions League place. Not mathematically, of course, but it's put them very far behind now in that. If I look at the Premier League standings, and I'm just going to pull them up here while we're chit-chatting away, Newcastle are down in 9th place now in the Premier League, and they are 11 points outside the top 4. So what they need to do now is start putting a run together and getting some victories to kind of put them back in contention in the race for the top 4, if not the Europa League.
Okay, well, I must confess that I am a bit behind in terms of the Premier League. So apologies to anyone listening for that. But before we go and plug tomorrow, just time to quickly run you through the full-time results of the FA Cup third round. Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 3, we know about. But as for the other results, AFC Wimbledon 1, Ipswich Town 3, Coventry City 6, Oxford United 2. Maidstone United 1, Stevenage 0, and Millwall 2, Leicester City 3. And coming up tomorrow, we have another FA Cup third round match. It's Arsenal against Liverpool at 4:20. Join me again presenting, and it will be John JB Stoddard and Paul James in the commentary box. And Paul James in the commentary box. One of our most iconic commentary duos, and we look forward to having them describe the action to us tomorrow. But as for the here and now, we're just about done. So my thanks to Paul, Luke, and of course Russ for providing me with the extra info and commentary on the game ahead. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I thought cats were supposed to chase birds, but it appears that Newcastle have just done the role reversal. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.